Hello, everyone. If you'll find your seats, we'll get started momentarily. Hello, hello. If you'll find your seats, we will get started momentarily. Thank you.
You want to go with? I was here.
Hard.
Check, check. This is good.
Thank you.
So while you're finding your seats, we do have water, if you'd like a bottle of water over here on the side. And I would ask that you silence cell phones so we don't hear those ringing during the update. So, you know, as I look around the room, I think it's appropriate that we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you join me, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I saw the flag and I thought that was appropriate. Okay, well, good evening. My name is Pam Petrie. It's really nice to see so many neighbors in the room tonight. I appreciate your time, that you're interested in learning more about the proposed solar industrial project in our neighborhood. This project, if you don't know, is going to run along the north side of County Road 141, Wildcat Canyon Road. It's going to run west for 3 miles from County Road 136 all the way to County Road 140. Okay? We represent, this group here and a few others in the audience represent a group called Stop Hesperus Solar. While many in our group support solar energy as an alternative energy source, we oppose the large-scale industrial solar facilities that we feel will destroy the natural environment of our community. Our opposition is not to solar, but again, it's to the size and the location of this particular solar industrial facility. So we've received several calls, several emails, wondering what's happening since our last meeting. And so tonight, our goal is to provide you with an update on where the project is currently at with the Plata County Planning Department. I'm going to give you a summary of the application deficiencies which the county has identified. We want to talk about next steps to stop this project from being approved. We want to give you an opportunity to get involved as a volunteer with our efforts if you so desire, and we want to gather signatures on our petition. So it's going to be very short and brief, and so for our update, I'd like to introduce Barry Spear.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see a lot of faces we had at our first community meeting, and a lot of new faces too. We do think this is an important issue for our neighborhood. I am here to give an update on the county process and what Primergy has to go through in order to build the Hesperus Solar facility, which is 500,000 solar panels, which is pretty remarkable. In order to be able to build the project, Hesperus Solar, Primergy has to receive a permit from the Plata County. The Plata County will review the application that Primergy has filed under the Land Use Code, Chapter 69, which was recently adopted to address lands of state interest. Primergy filed its application on November 4th. Under the Land Use Code, the county was supposed to respond by December 4th with a determination of completeness, is what they call it, which is a review that the county does to make sure the application followed everything that is required under Chapter 69. The county review was supposed to be done on December 4th. It was not done until January 4th, and it was done on January 4th under what is called the Part 1. There will be a second part that'll be filed, but that hasn't been filed yet. Part 1 has a number of deficiencies that the county has found in the application, and that's what Hudson here will talk about in detail, what those deficiencies are and why the application is deficient at this time. As I said, there's a second part, and part 2 is being conducted by a consultant that the county has retained and will also be reviewing the application, and it has not filed its report yet. When it files its report, Primergy will have to take steps to correct all the deficiencies. And under the Land Use Code, it has 60 days from the time it is notified that it is not in compliance with the code. The county has told me that it might be up to 90 days, and they do have the flexibility of the county to extend that deadline. So I would think that it's probably going to be 90 days, but we do not have that deadline. We do not have the date, which will not be established until Part 2 has been filed. Not correct the deficiency, then the application is quote unquote withdrawn, and they're done. In order for them to try to do this project again, they have to file a brand new application. That is if they do not address all the deficiencies in a satisfactory manner for the county. If they do address the deficiencies and the county staff decides that they have done that in a satisfactory manner, then there's a second review by the county. And that review actually is a deep dive, as one of the planners told me, into whether or not the application actually follows the principles of the land use code. So it's what I like to call more of a content review, while the first review was just process to make sure that the county had everything to review, and then the next review is, okay, now are they doing it right? Are they conforming with the county? Say the 1st of April, we'll say, then they'll probably have 90 days to try to correct the deficiency. So that takes us into July. After that, the county then goes into this deep dive review, at the end of which they put together a report which will be made public. And it is a report that is to be given to the Board of County Commissioners. 7 days after that report is filed, the county must have a public hearing And then after the public hearing, the Board of County Commissioners can vote either to deny the application or to approve the application or approve the application with conditions. So we're at a point where Primergy really hasn't gotten to a place where it's a credible application in front of the county yet because of the deficiencies. So the time frame for this whole thing is that, like I said, I think probably in July is when Primergy will have to respond to the determination of completeness deficiencies, and then if the county will take 2 or 3 months or more to review that before we have a report, which will be by the end of the year, and they may not make a decision on this until the first of next year, 2024. So that's kind of where we are right now. One thing that has kind of, I guess I would say hurt the process is that the county planner, who actually appeared here at the first community meeting, Christy Cost, ended her job last week. So she is no longer there, and they have not selected someone to replace her. And who knows what sort of person that person would be. Christy was pretty fair, pretty straightforward. She actually made comments to me that she thought this was the right project in the wrong location. And for her to say that, I thought it was pretty good, but that gives us some insight as to what they were saying. So I think the county, which has a lack of staff, is probably going to drag us out a little bit too. So that's my role tonight, to kind of give you a timeline. And I can't give you very many dates, but that's kind of where we are.
All right, thanks. So as Barry mentioned, the county planning staff identified over 100 deficiencies in Primergy's application, 113 deficiencies or items that they marked incomplete. The full document can be found on the Plata County website. So I just want to go over a dozen or so of these deficiencies that the county identified. This certainly isn't a full summary, but some of the deficiencies benefit from the revenues generated. Existing electricity solutions, including rooftop solar panels and other alternative electricity solutions, and how a utility would benefit LaPlata County, anticipated consumers, and current utility providers. Specific information on Primergy's efforts to identify potential alternative sites for the project, the location, and why Primergy deemed those locations to be unfit. A site-specific water demand study that complies with local land use code requirements and calculates water usage of the project, including dust control, operations and maintenance building and its septic system, and panel cleaning. Description of the impacts and net effect on terrestrial and aquatic animals, habitat, and food chain. Complete list and description of potential hazards during construction and throughout the facility's life, including potential risks associated with health, safety, and welfare of employees and the public, potential environmental damage and contamination, impacts and net effect of the entire project area on potential hazards, emergency procedures for events that may endanger the public health, safety, and welfare, including in addition to fire emergencies, including risk to the water tank and water supply, construction-related accidents, etc. A policy concerning each parcel of property burdened by, involved in the project, including the property rights of the water storage tank owner. Detailed analysis of the facility's potential impacts on existing community patterns. Explanation of how the visual impact assessments that Primergy submitted with its application were deemed moderate to low impact, including specific key observation points such as the Plata Mountains. documentation of whether local or nearby residents were consulted as part of the visual impact assessment, an assessment of impact of the temporary construction employees on the Plata County's local rental market, traffic information and evaluation that comply with local requirements, including evaluation of impact on local traffic during construction, assessment of any potential county emergency and medical services in the event of an emergency, including the potential costs. And with regard to decommissioning, a detailed final reclamation plan for the facility plan for the end of its 45-year estimated lifespan with a detailed timeline, including plans to reestablish wildlife habitat or forage production, revegetation and native plants, reclamation of access roads, honoring agreements with landowners, etc. A cost estimate for complete reclamation based on current providers' costs and adjustment for future inflation. Documentation of Primergy claims that much of the solid waste can be recycled or sold as scrap. And a financial guarantee for decommissioning costs along with details for determining potential salvage value and costs. So again, this was just a brief summary of a dozen or so of those deficiencies that the county identified, but there are over 100 if you want to read the full list, and that can be found on the county website.
Thank you, Hudson. So what you can do to stop Hesperus Solar. We have volunteer sign up at the back table. Sierra's back there. She's happy to go over our new volunteer packet. Our volunteer packet goes over several ways that you can help or volunteer. Send an email to 10 friends and neighbors. Send public comment to the county. There's public comment on the county's website on the project where you can submit opinion directly. You can write a letter to the editor or submit an opinion column into the newspaper. We have links within the volunteer packet to show you exactly where you can do this. You can reach out to community organizations, businesses, post comments about your concerns on social media, share that with your community. Post the flyers that we have for circulation flyers available at CED in Bodo Park, in public places that your neighbors frequent. Different dates and tasks for volunteers on the sign-up sheets, again, at the back table. We also have newsletter sign-up forms available if you would like to continue to receive updates for future meetings and future information as it does develop. Thank you. Here's Pam.
Thank you, Jen. And, you know, to hit home on what Jen was saying, we all have full-time jobs and we are spending a lot of time. And you know, more hands make lighter work. So we would welcome anyone that would like to help us to get involved with our efforts. And there's numerous not formally formed, so that's a little tricky at the moment. It would need to be helping us pay for copies, helping us pay for the room here tonight. You know, you could take care of some of those expenses for us. Right now, we are taking care of all those expenses ourselves as a group. Nobody wanted to really form a business and open a bank account for this cause, so we're handling that delicately. But anyway, a big piece of our mission is also our petition, and I would like Bethany to speak to you about our petition.
Hey neighbors, I'm Bethany Nickham. We are already at 1,000 plus signed on our petition online and paper form. If you have not signed it yet, it will be back at the table. If you hopefully sending out our online version of the petition as well. We want, I mean, to me, how amazing would it be if we had 25,000 signatures? I mean, that would actually really send a message to the county that this is just the wrong place for it. So again, you have to be 18 or over, which I think most of us in this room are good to go. This will be at the back, or else you can find the petition at stophesperussolar.com, our website, and the link is right there.
Thank you, Bethany. Yeah, 1,000 signatures, that's pretty good for the short amount of time we've been on this project. So I want to thank you all for coming. We did not plan to take a lot of questions tonight, but the committee is planning to stay, and we will be available if you'd like to visit with us individually. I'll get to you. But, and if you want to get involved at the table, we've got numerous clipboards. I said we weren't taking questions, but do you have something good for the order?
Actually, I wanted to say, has anyone looked into these companies that are coming in? Because if you look what's actually going on, whoever's there, with Primergy and then Glenbrook, in how they're set up as LLCs, and the other one is a private equity firm. And private equity firms are set up simply just to manage a product, a project, and then sell it. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to come in here, put 500,000
500,000.
panels, and they're going to sell it. And how we're going to pull them,
You make a very good point that we are very concerned about. Absolutely. And we'd love to have you on our team to help us with that research. We've got a couple people that are really good at research. I'm not one of them, but we do have a couple people that are very good at the research side of things. And if you'd like to help with that, we would love your help. We would. Yeah, this project is huge. This project is larger than this, 2/3 larger than the surface water of Lake Nyworth. That's a big footprint right here. And again, we're not opposed to solar. I mean, there's legislation that's demanded by our state that has demanded energy companies to find cleaner energy by certain dates. And so they're out there scrambling to try to figure it out. How are they going to comply with the state mandates? And solar is the easiest first thing to look at. Our point is, this is the wrong location. There are numerous other depleted areas, rooftops, malls, parking garages. There's just so many other options. I got an email today suggesting that we put them on deserts, on barren desert land where it's already hot and not much grows anyway. So there's so many other options besides our beautiful area, our neighborhood right here in Hesperus. And that's our point. So please get involved, please help us. We're fighting the big boys on this one. And we're just a bunch of neighbors doing our best to have our voice heard. Right? Yes, ma'am?
Have you guys invited any of the commissioners to any of these?
They cannot attend a public meeting without it. It's a compromise on there. So yes, we've spoken to them. They know how we feel. They know we exist, but they're not able to attend meetings. And this project does not go to the planning commission. This project will be the first project that skips the planning commission, goes straight to the Board of County Commissioners. 3 votes. 3 votes on this project.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned the public hearing. That's another reason why it's so.
Yeah, it's very important when it does get to the Board of County Commissioners that we show up. And if you're comfortable speaking, that you speak. If you're not, you write, you email, you just sit in the room and let us be there. That's big too. We need help. We're fighting an uphill fight here, we feel like, against big corporate dollars. Anything else for the good of the order? Yes.
So my suggestion is when you go to the county commissioners, there are some good reasons to say that this is not environmentally friendly to our area. One, they're talking about all the fires and stuff. We lost a lot of trees and a lot of ground that would take the carbon dioxide out of the soil by plants. And so putting it in the desert where there's no plants is a very valid point. But most of those county commissioners are more on the environmental side, so we need to try to convince them why this is not an environmentally.
We've identified 13 concerns amongst ourselves, and they're on our website. If you've looked at that, go to stophesperussolar.com and read up. We've got some pamphlets back here as well, but fire, water contamination, these are big deals, and it's the second largest migratory path for elk and deer in the state of Colorado. One of the largest, okay. One of the largest migratory paths for elk and deer in the state of Colorado, and that's winter graze for them as well. So it will have a big disruption to a lot of environmental issues. Well, thank you for coming. We appreciate you very much. Your support, your interest is encouraging. And if you are inclined to help more, please do. Talk with us, sign up on a clipboard, and thank you for coming.